How has Jeremy Corbyn...
Is that it? How?
Yeah,
How's Jeremy? Good question.
75.
been trying to appear statesmanlike?
He's got new glasses.
No, let him answer. He hasn't
Yeah, he's got
answered
new
yet.
glasses.
No, we can do what we like on this show,
Okay,
David.
all right, I'll give up. I thought I was meant to chair it. Right.
No, you, sir, in the middle. Shut up.
Yeah.
Now.
The other day, there was Theresa May and Jeremy Corbyn. They spoke apparently at 4 in the morning. Who is up at 4 in the morning? And even if you can't find sleep, you wouldn't dream of ringing someone else because you think, well, surely they'll be asleep.
That's the booty call.
You think that's a booty call?
4 a.m. Yeah, that's what they're after.
I think you'll have to explain to David what a booty call is.
No, David knows, you know.
No, I don't know what a booty call is.
You know, your little black book.
What? Well, you give me one and then I'll know what to do.
I'm going to get him one.
So,
I think he's got the idea now.
Rees-Mogg was obviously very appalled by all this, but he does have his Facebook supporters group. Let's have a look at this illuminating forum. Just for interest's sake, are there any young folk on this site? Yes, I'm 55. What threatened to derail the indicative votes?
Oh, was this the naked protest? It was.
Go on.
I was going to ask you a question, but I keep forgetting that's a waste of time.
Yeah.
It was the naked protest. A load of arses appeared in the Commons, and then so did some naked...
Do you want to see them?
Yeah,
Yes,
go on then.
please.
All right, here they are. One,
Oh,
two,
they're not
three,
properly
four, five.
naked,
Yeah, what?
David. They've got pants on.
Yeah, they've got pants on, but, you know,
I wanted to see the old lot.
they've got...
Well, the honourable member and all.
Honestly, it will all come out in the wash. Everyone's worrying at the moment, but if you look back onto the history of Britain, say, in 500 years' time, totally insignificant Brexit. Everyone just sit back, have a Horlicks, and just enjoy
Have you
it.
learnt all your English references from old Ealing comedy? On the blower, have a Horlicks. All right, governor.
But things like, I mean, all your tinned food and stuff, the supermarkets have said there's no need to stockpile it. The government has said there's no need to stockpile it.
They're probably right, but, you know, you could end up going to the shops and then not finding coconut milk.
If you're hankering for a new Mrs Thatcher, she's the one who said we shouldn't have a referendum on Europe. It was too complicated an issue to put to the public.
And also,
That's Mrs Thatcher.
And also...
She was right. I've got to admit it.
Maggie Thatcher.
All right.
2 people clapped. And you're working one of them with your foot.
So I think that's definitely a majority.
Can you remember that, what was... Yeah, that chubby geezer from North Korea is Kim Jong-un.
Chubby geezer? That's like a Lavender Hill mob. Chubby geezer from North Korea. Oh, blimey, I wouldn't like to be his tailor. Go now.
David,
Yes.
can I just interrupt very quickly? Do you think Paul looks like someone? Think
I'm
DUP.
sure he... No, he doesn't like anybody.
But think DUP.
Of the DUP?
That's quite a tall order.
Arlene Foster.
No.
Arlene Foster.
A bit.
Paul Merton looks like Arlene Foster.
Don't you join in? I'm busy opening supermarkets in Derry.
Can you take that sitting down?
Oh, well,
You'll have to.
I think it's probably... She's more insulted about it than I am, I should think.
Lorraine Kelly and Lorraine Kelly.
The 2 Lorraines, well, there was a court case this week that she won where it was argued that there are 2 Lorraine Kellys. There is the real Lorraine Kelly, who is Lorraine Kelly walking around as Lorraine Kelly, and then there's the performer.
It was about paying tax.
About paying tax.
It wasn't just a case. It was, could she pay less tax because she'd booked herself in as a persona? I mean, there's nothing wrong with saying I'm a persona. I mean, we all do it. In real life, I'm incredibly nice. Actually, I like kittens. With avocado.
Hungry Neanderthals ate what for dinner?
Homo sapiens.
Dinner.
It's their turn.
I know this.
I know, I'm just
You
jumping
mustn't
in.
jump the gun,
Why not?
because it's unfair.
And?
Well, I'm here to see fair play.
No, you're not, David.
Well, what am I here for?
I've no idea.
Shocking video of David Cameron's shepherd's hut on fire has gone viral. What has a man called Fuzz been doing to hit back at Boris? You'll like this, Janie.
Fuzz.
This is a chap who has, as they say, dipped his Johnson in Boris's beer. He said, the opportunity of a lifetime arose. I think there can be very few of us that haven't sat around thinking about an opportunity of dipping our private parts into the drink of a cabinet minister or a former cabinet minister. It happens to me 2 or 3 times a week. So far, the urge has not got the better of me, but this chap...
Did he teabag his beer?
Is that what it called?
I think that is the implication.
It's called teabagging, Alan.
Is it?
Yes, I'll show you later.
OK. It was a bit of a shock for Boris, who thought he'd ordered a bishop's finger. If you were forced to smuggle a Cornish pasty through customs, how would you do it?
I know.
Go on, then.
Under both breasts, I can get 2 Cornish pasties, 2 bottles of iron brew and a sausage dug.
Any answers on your side?
We
Can't compete with that.
We haven't worked out why you'd want to take a Cornish pasty to Europe.
You might enjoy a Cornish pasty. It might always be a family tradition to have a Cornish pasty on holiday.
Oh, in Brittany.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can keep them warm all the way.
Well, that is the important thing.
This menopause is not going to waste.
Other friends in the Norfolk set include the Earl and Countess of Leicester, Lord and Lady Cook, and perhaps surprisingly, some people who spell their names the way they're pronounced.
There's a lot of cook going around those circles.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex have just set a new world record. What did Harry and Meghan do to achieve it?
Magdalen College, Oxford. Spelt Magdalene.
We have it in Glasgow
Do you?
with Milgai. It's spelt Millingavi, but we pronounce it Milgai.
And you have Menzies up in Scotland, which is pronounced Mingus.
Mingus, yeah.
And we've got Menzies.
The newsagents.
Yeah. It sells a lot of very, very good publications.
Oh, no, but it also sells private art. So that also sells private art. So we must be clear.
Yes, Paul.
I didn't press.
Who did?
I think that was...
You can see why I always lose.
I've got you. Don't worry, I've got you. Streatham Rovers, who tweeted this ahead of a meeting between the 2 teams this week. Here's the team sheet for tonight's game, and we are absolutely furious because Sydney fielded their players to spell out SRFC shit.
That's beautiful.
It's about more couples drawing up legally binding contracts to determine who gets the family pet in the event of a divorce.
Oh, it's a pre-pup.
Yes.
Yes.
It's called a pet nup. A pet nup. I thought yours was better, double the points.
Yeah.
And according to law firm Maguire, 1 in 20 pet-owning couples now have a pet nup. Is this a sensible idea?
Yeah, I've got a wee sausage dog. If me and my husband split up, I'm taking the dog, he can keep my daughter.
What is as barbaric as the sacking of Rome?
Is it catching your tits in the shower door?
Nick West from Langford in Somerset claims he used to buy 650 cans of beer a year for his collection. Most of his neighbours see him as compulsive, but in Scotland he's seen as a bit of a lightweight.
getting a look, Alan.
Next.
You want me to show you the tea bagging?
That's Notre Dame burning down. No one died, so it's not a tragedy. I mean, it is a tragedy, but it's not. You can laugh.
You get that on Facebook, wouldn't you? Get people going, I was there 8 years ago.
Yeah, let's have a look at some of the responses, because as you say, really sad news, but there was quite a lot of people who made it worse with how they responded. Piers Corbyn tweeted, "Stone doesn't burn, there's something else burning in there."
Oh, my God.
To which quite a few people replied, "That'll be wood, mate." But there is good news in all of this. People have been raising money for them. Much of the €1 billion has already been pledged. Who's been putting the hands in the pocket?
L'Oreal?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Because God's worth it.
Yeah, why is it worth it? Why have they been putting the hand in the pocket?
Tax deductible?
Oh, is it?
Yes.
I was just being cynical. I didn't think
Yeah.
it was true.
Your cynicism is well placed.
Do they get their products mentioned in the Bible?
Because Jesus did have great hair, didn't
Yeah.
he?
Wonderful. He was admired for it.
But the things that were saved that we definitely know were there was the huge rose window of stained glass.
Yep.
The metal chicken that was on the spire, the rooster.
It was a cockerel, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there we go. It's a type of bird, isn't it? And...
It's not Kentucky Fried up there, is it? Symbol of
Well, it
France.
was after the fire. What might be the real reason the president lost patience with Julian Assange?
He, like, sent out a picture of the president eating a lobster, didn't he?
Yeah, apparently he hacked into his private computer and then posted an embarrassing photograph of the president in bed with a lobster. What was the president's excuse for being in bed with a lobster, though?
We're in love.
That was my birthday. I was watching soccer in bed. It was a great day. My wife gifted me the pyjamas I was wearing and the lobster.
Tell you
Pyjamas,
what, his wife, who's bought him pyjamas and a lobster, that is a shit birthday.
I can tell you're young.
What was the worst thing, apparently, that Julian Assange did inside the Ecuadorian embassy, as if it hasn't been bad enough? What
We haven't
said?
covered it.
That's another thing.
Worse than shit on the walls?
Apparently so.
Shit on the ceiling?
How would you do that?
Gaffer tape. I would guess.
There was some footage that WikiLeaks put out, because I was worried about the cat. And WikiLeaks put it out the week before Julian Assange got arrested. I think his lawyer took it, so it's in safe hands.
Oh, good.
So the
That's a
cat
relief
knew
then.
in advance, but didn't tell Assange. They're like that, cats. They just don't care.
Listen,
No
mate, I
loyalty.
use the litter tray, so why don't you?
WikiLeaks just came out with lots of really unbelievable things.
It's been amazing what's coming out on WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks. They want to distract us from WikiLeaks. The sad part is we don't talk about WikiLeaks because it's incredible.
Mr. President, do you still love WikiLeaks?
I know nothing about WikiLeaks. It's not my thing.
This is the Crystal Palace goalkeeper, Wayne Hennessy, who got accused of doing a Nazi salute in a photograph, but was this week cleared after establishing to the FA that he was too stupid to have heard of the Nazis.
Is he also doing that with his hand?
Yes.
He claimed that was because he claimed that's because he was shouting to the photographer.
Does the bloke next to him never heard of Churchill?
Hennessy told an FA panel that he was unaware of what a Nazi salute actually was.
Are you telling me that we live in a country that is obsessed with World War II? Like, our elected politicians are going around, you'd think that they'd, like, fought personally on the Normandy beaches, and this man has never heard of Hitler, ever.
Yes, that's right.
It's mad, isn't it? He's watched all of Fawlty Towers and he enjoyed 11 episodes. One of them, he was like, I don't get this one at all.
Do you know what, though? It reminds me of when I got caught swearing on telly, and I got away with it because I could blame Les Dawson's daughter, who happened to be in the studio at the time.
What, you just said it was her?
Yeah. Because I would have been fired.
Were you on screen?
Yeah, basically, I'd gone off set and the programme was still running live, and I walked off, and on the programme they introduced a guest, but the sound man faded up my microphone instead of the guest, and I had a bruise on my arm, and I was like, what the fuck is that? And it just happened to be at the time that the guest was being introduced. Yeah. And obviously my accent is fairly distinguishable, so the quick-thinking technical team who didn't want me to be fired, because, you know, I get on with them, we swapped the microphones over and said it was...
No!
We said it was Les Dawson's daughter because she happened to be in as a guest on the programme.
Yeah, a guest or a patsy. I suppose you were lucky you didn't have the Archbishop of York or somebody else.
Ian.
At last, something I know about. This is Nando's.
Well done. Why has whole earth peanut butter been taken off supermarket shelves? It's because its ingredients label says it contains walnuts, but accidentally they've written that in Dutch. So people might not be able to tell there's walnuts in it. Does anybody know what the Dutch is for walnut?
Hofmeister.
Walnut.
Walnut.
You can see the problem, can't you?
Yeah, that could confuse a stupid person.
For the end of Wayne Hennessy if he's got a walnut allergy.
And authorities are still mystified as to the cause of the Notre Dame fire, according to Cardinal Dubois, who insists the roof was fine the last time he looked.
So, yes, President Trump is visiting this country in June. There he is, waving goodbye.
How has Donald Trump described the Queen in the past?
She is an incredible woman. She is so sharp. She is so beautiful. When I say beautiful, inside and out, that is a beautiful woman.
I hope Prince Philip still got his car. We have had some worse people over, haven't we? I mean, we made a huge song and dance for the Chinese, and they came along in the gold coach, and all the protesters were moved to one side in case they mentioned human rights or anything. So, I mean, we've got a lot of practice. We can do it again.
That's the spirit.
Who's going to know exactly what Trump's plans are and even what he's thinking?
Is it Huawei?
Yes.
She's going to let them build part of our new 5G technology mobile systems.
Yes.
Because she's decided they can be trusted.
She is indeed allowing the Chinese firm Huawei... No.
Hawaii.
She's allowing the Chinese firm No, come on.
Nokia.
Nokia.
Just say Nokia. Give it to Nokia, it's easier.
How am I going to say this? Someone help me out.
Huawei. Huawei.
This is the sort of top-notch stuff they'll be listening into. What do they say? They're still trying to pronounce our company name.
So back to Donald Trump. Who will not be meeting him?
A member of the royal family?
No.
No.
No, they have to, I think.
Yeah.
Poor fuckers.
I don't think either part of that is true.
Still disappointed by the lack of knighthood?
In Australia, dead fish, a massive stink. Oh, sorry, I'm going to stop.
Effectively, it runs into the billions of fish. At the moment, numbers are saying hundreds of thousands to millions. This river system will run about another 150 kilometres. So if you have these type of quills up and down, you'll be talking of billions of fish. Billions of fish being destroyed by this government. Any last words, Dick?
I feel sorry for Jeremy, I'll tell you.
No.
Brilliant. I think it's just a list of reality shows, and being an MEP is the bottom. She's done everything else. Strictly, Fat Farm, Good Evening. I don't think that's actually a show. But you were on a reality show. You were on Hunted.
I was, yeah, to raise money for Stand Up to Cancer, yeah.
Right.
It's good.
Oh, you pulling that old charity
Well, of
angle.
course, yeah. Because I can just see you cocking your...
What?
Got better eyesight than me.
Well, this is the news that there's a bent pole in Gloucester.
Is this really the top story of the week?
Well, if anybody does know how the pole got bent, and I'm throwing this open, Gloucestershire Live would like to hear from you. Did you see what happened to the pole? Email glosslivenews@reachplc.com. OK. Fingers on buzzer.
Well, was that it? That is the worst story you've ever had in this show.
Yeah. It's a public service announcement. Here we go. Yes.
Right, they found the cause of the bent pole in Gloucester.
Do you know what the difference is between a zedonk and a zonkey?
Is it one's male donkey and then with a female zebra and the other's a male zebra with a female donkey?
We don't know, but if you do, please email Gloucestershire Live. Gloss Live News, reachplc.com. Modern experts say it's because ships are like mother figures playing a protective role over the crew.
It's quite sweet. I think a lot of it was superstitious, because these guys, you know, they used to go away for, like, 2 years and say this would be their mother, and they would, you know, feel that all nice and comfortable inside her. And a bit weird.
Titanic was definitely a bloke, though, wasn't it? Just ploughing on. Oh, shut up, Marjorie. It'll be absolutely...
It was spotted last week by oil rig workers in Thailand, 135 miles from shore.
Wow.
And how had the dog managed to get that far out to sea?
Crafted a raft out of passing coconut husks and bits of bamboo.
And Anne Widdecombe.
Well, the trouble is nobody really knows.
Oh, OK.
Oh, this is in Gloucester Live.
If you do have a solution, please do get in touch. glosslivenews@reachplc.com. She was in Iceland. She sat down on some ice which had formed in the shape of a throne and was promptly carried out to sea. The iceberg incident happened a couple of weeks ago, after which the accident-prone granny completed her tour of Europe with a trip to Paris, where she lit a candle in Notre Dame. Attending a naturist event requires what?
Balls.
The undoubted highlight of the Naturist Society's winter break in Bournemouth was what?
A warm hand on their entrance.
It was Barry's evening quiz.
Huh?
Was that fingers on buzzers? Bet it was.
Gavin Williamson has been fired for allegedly leaking secrets.
Normally, you know, if you sacked your defence secretary, it would be 3 volumes of a history book. But with this government, yeah, all right, he's gone.
According to the BBC, Williamson did, by his own admission, have a conversation on the particular day with the journalist who broke the story. I should say, Gavin Williamson still insists he is telling the truth and is not the source of the leak.
That was a good bit from the lawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can always tell they're sort of comedy gold, really. I should point out that Mr. Williamson has denied the story.
But Ian, that... You look very like a muppet there. That was great.
For the sake of balance, can I say he privately admitted it?
Yeah. I'm all for people leaking stuff, obviously, otherwise they have very little to do.
He could hide out in the Ecuadorian embassy now that it's free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a room for you.
Once they've cleaned it up.
Yeah.
Don't want to go through there with the UV light, do you? Splash was a celebrity show where they just had to dive.
Oh, right.
Oh.
I was offered The Island. Is that Channel 4?
I think so.
Well, Love Island.
No. No, that I would have taken.
Yeah.
That's Marks and Spencer's.
They look like ears.
This is the news that the Percy pig has gone vegetarian to a rash of complaints. Despite the new recipe, Percy the pig is still unsuitable for vegans.
Oh.
Why is that? Beeswax.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Beeswax.
Beeswax is
And some people feel bee products are exploitation
Yeah,
of
yeah.
bees who don't choose to have their work used that way.
They don't get consulted.
It's
That
a
is a
consent issue.
fair...
Do dogs choose to be guide dogs for the blind?
Yeah, they have to take a test and say, do you want to do it? A lot of them say, no, I'm all right.
You find out quickly about the ones who didn't want the job because they don't keep their owner long.
They lose it, yeah. Oh, yeah, sure, it's the Green Man right now. Beep, beep, beep.
Finally, who would like to see a seagull?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Wow! That's so good! Oh, my God! That's brilliant.
Fitbit, what does that do?
It's a fitness band?
Meant to measure your activity, isn't it?
Yeah, it says
How many
how many
miles you
steps.
might walk, or how many miles you might
Steps you've done.
swim or
Your
fly.
heartbeat
Or...
and-
Was it a surprise to you? Good grief, I've been on a run.
I think it might tell you how many steps you've taken.
So it tells you you've walked up some steps.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
No,
if
people do need a lot of help now, don't they?
If you're too tired to run, but you want to feel like you're doing exercise, it makes you feel like, you did steps, well done you.
What, just steps? You walked along?
Yes.
You need a device for that, do you?
I don't think we should have got Ian that one for Christmas. Take it back.
They're upset, Ian.
We would have been
upset.
better off getting him a Casanova. Strap that to your ankle and tell me all about it.
Legendary lover Casanova. Researchers recently revealed that they'd been unable to find evidence of the gonorrhea Casanova claimed to have, suggesting that he had exaggerated the condition to help cement his claim of bedding so many women.
That's quite desperate, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a great chat-up line, is it? I've got gonorrhea because
Yeah.
I've been with so
I'm
many
such
women.
a great lover.
Yeah.
I've got gonorrhea, how about it?
Man accused of making the worst fried eggs in the world. Let's take a look at his appalling culinary efforts.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Why has he got that many beans? That's a breakfast bowl of beans. You need a small ramekin at most.
I love that it's black bacon, black eggs, and Carrie says, too many beans. Man from Lancashire spends all day counting baked beans and becomes an internet star. This is John Stitch from Blackburn, whose analysis of tins of beans has turned him into an internet sensation. Let's have a look at one of his posts. On one occasion, John fainted after losing count of his beans. Luckily, though, his wife was on hand to check his pulse for him.
The only bit I don't believe about this story is the words "his wife." Who would marry a fuckwit like that?
Oh, he's a real man, and he's going to be watching this as big moment.
They'd be too busy counting beans.
He's counting beans in Lancashire because he can't come down to London to see Paul Merton in the flesh. And he's thinking, wow, my story is going to be on Have I Got News for You. I can't wait to hear what fuckwit.
His wife's already saying the word behind his back.
Why is he counting the beans? Sorry, I missed this bit.
Because people like it, and then
Ian,
people...
don't get
no,
involved.
why
Don't
is
get involved, Ian. Oh, no. He's involved.
He's involved now. He's involved now. This will be in private eye next month. Yes, this is them. They have they've done something, and there's a woman well used to drinking champagne. The traditional spilling of the champagne from the mouth to announce the birth of a baby.
Does anyone know the baby's full name?
Archie.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
Mountbatten Windsor.
Indeed.
There's an ooh from the audience. The politician has remembered 4 things.
Names are tricky things, Ian, we know. Names
I
are tricky
know,
things.
you keep
I know,
changing
I know.
yours.
It's important. That's why it's important to get them right, you know?
The Daily Mail actually brought out a royal baby souvenir edition containing 23 pages of unrivalled pictures and reports. What do we learn from the 23 pages of coverage? Anything?
It must be the first time Daily Mail has been enthusiastic about a black baby on benefits. I'd be amazed if that makes the edit.
They emerged from the Privy Purse door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just make this stuff up.
I know.
I have never emerged from the Privy Purse door. Have you, Joe?
I have after I had sex with the Duke of Edinburgh. That won't get on either, Phil. But, you know...
So to speak.
Matron. Yeah.
Why he crashed his car?
Who could be seen camping out on Windsor High Street?
Duke of Edinburgh, waiting for you to turn up.
I'd love that. We're back to the Duke of Edinburgh.
Oh, lovely, yeah.
Right.
We're never far away. Not in your eyes.
What is it?
You know, every time you mention his name, you twinkle. Have you noticed?
I have. That's a great laugh. Anyway, what has the Duke of Edinburgh done for the first...
What, apart from you?
Finish the sentence.
The last 2 weeks.
What's the Duke of Edinburgh done for the first time since the car crash?
Told the Queen about you and him.
Nice kitchen.
I think that's the same person twice. I think she's been photoshopped him. That's him in a wig.
They do look very similar.
That's why I'm saying it.
But that's what they say about couples, isn't it? That you choose someone that looks like a mirror image of you.
Do you?
Prince Charles doesn't look like you.
No, it's the Duke of Edinburgh.
Oh, sorry.
He looks a lot like me.
I wish he'd wear the glasses when he was driving.
Shall I tell you about a spoiled ballot paper I had once?
Yeah.
So between me and the Lib Dem, there were 2 penises drawn in the little boxes. I had an erect penis, and the Lib Dem had a flaccid penis. So we decided on balance that I should get the vote. Seem more purposeful.
When you say 2 penises drawn, do you mean out of the ballot box?
If only. No, so the artistry is quite good.
But only one of them could stand for Parliament. Is that what you're saying?
Fingers on buzzers, teams. Am I meant to be doing this again? I've kind of...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we've still got a bit more of this,
Yeah, yeah.
haven't we? Thanks,
Yeah, yeah.
Paul.
No, we like seeing it.
Oh, what? Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
No, that was completely out of sync.
yeah, that was
No, wait.
terrible. Hang on.
No.
That was quite bad.
That
Should we
was
do it
quite
again?
bad. You'd have to do it all again.
This is a shambles.
Hang
We
on,
might as well be
what's going on,
politicians.
Steve? We can't replace her now. What are you talking about? Too late. Put the hammer down.
My husband often says that to me.
I was stopped for speeding once, which I wasn't. Just saying.
It was just the car you were in.
Yeah. The policeman stopped me, 2 of them. They took me to the side into a lay-by, and one of them said, "We've got one question to ask you." And I said, "Fair enough." And they said, "What's Paul Merton like?"
Your answer?
I didn't tell them. I wanted to get off.
I got stopped by the police once, and they said, "What's that Ian Hislop like?" I said, "He's a right bastard."
True.
And on a road near Downing Street, number 10's chief mouser, Larry, proves his negotiation skills are as strong as his owners.
And we're very keen on Brexit having to go through, despite it not being a very good idea. Oh, I see. Is that going to happen?
Good night.
That's brilliant. I mean, the BBC said they didn't want to draw attention to the show, and I think they certainly haven't.
You could argue sabotage their best shot at Brexit.
That's very BBC. You could argue.
You could argue.
They
thank
did,
you.
didn't they?
You said that, not me, my friend.
Yeah. Vote Heidi Allen.
Right.
Can I just check whether this show's actually going out? I've got a few jokes which I'll save for next week.
I think you have to have a photo shoot in your kitchen to get into the race.
Yes.
And he's
Count
got...
the ovens, Tom. Count the ovens.
4 ovens.
That we know of. There could be more.
There could be more that come... Maybe that Paul Merton surface is just...
Yeah. Do you want to play a game of Name That Oven?
Always.
Is this going to replace us on BBC One?
This is the only bit they'll play.
This is just in case it all goes horribly wrong again.
Name that oven.
God, you took the catchphrase right out of my mouth. Go on, you can introduce it, Ian.
And tonight on BBC One, the unbiased Name That Bosh.
OK, let's have our first oven, please. Fingers on buzzers.
Oh. I think that's an AEG. My friend's got it with the rotating knob.
Oh. The oven or the friend?
No, actually, why do you think he's a friend?
This is Bosch, I'm afraid. Let's have your next oven.
That's a Dyson.
A Dyson oven?
Oh, Ian, there's the words of somebody who's never cooked a meal in their own house before.
How many ovens have you got, Ian, in your house?
We got one.
One?
I've got a very small one that does toast.
Right. Well, there's pop-up ovens.
I haven't got an oven, no, I
can't imagine you with an oven.
What do you mean you can't imagine me with an oven?
I can't see you with an oven.
You've got a power of imagination, haven't you?
Yeah, I know, but it doesn't stretch that far.
Not stretch... Well, would you see me next to a fridge?
Yes, I can, actually.
A water filter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why not an oven?
I don't know. I was hoping you could tell me.
I can't tell you why you can't imagine why I'm not next to an oven.
Can you see Paul next to an oven, Tom?
Absolutely not, and I'd be disgusted if I saw you next to one.
Why?
I just always imagine you going to a Carluccio's.
Why is it a bit tricky for Brexit Party candidates, especially in the Euro elections? What are they lacking?
A leader.
Apart from, debatably, a leader.
A manifesto?
A manifesto.
Why do you need a manifesto nowadays? Just say, hey, vote for me. I like a pint.
Do you, Ian? I can't imagine you with a pint.
Is there anything you can imagine?
I can't imagine you with an oven, Ian with a pint.
You've no idea what happens after this show. We go round to Paul's place, he puts in a pizza, I have a couple of jars.
Yeah.
A couple of jars, I was going to say.
Jars full of hummus, mostly.
But what did one happy Ryanair customer praise them for this week?
Cancelling the flight.
Landing at the airport that they'd suggested they were heading to.
Suggested? Yeah, well, Gary tweeted Ryanair to say, I've just landed in Lisbon. The whole experience was seamless from beginning to end. Everyone was extremely helpful, but in particular your cabin crew, who were friendly and professional. Very impressed. Ryanair were quick to respond. Hi, Gary, sorry for the inconveniences. Please submit a complaint here. Please submit a complaint here.
Donald Trump's come in for his old friend, hasn't he?
He's been pardoned, yeah, by Donald Trump, which is the equivalent of saying, you are guilty. If anyone had any doubt before whether he was a crook and a con man and was right to go to jail for fraud, they don't now. Donald's pardoned him guilty. He was on this show once. He was sitting right next to Paul there, trying to explain why he was innocent. It was a very funny show.
Did it go out?
Oh, no, they put that one out because there was no bias. No, he was guilty.
Let's test everyone's driving theory knowledge with a little quiz. Here we go. What does this sign mean?
Dangerous speeding vehicle.
Parts not attached to wheels, beware.
Looks like Jacob Rees-Mogg, if you look carefully.
Which one?
Yeah. Citizens of the United States are shocked to discover there are worse things you can do to the American flag than burn it. At time of recording, who's Prime Minister?
Boris Johnson.
It is currently Theresa May.
Oh, right, of course.
But how bad have things got for Theresa May?
There's been another cabinet revolt. She won't even see her main ministers. She's now got a cabinet of two, herself and her husband. Even he's walking out.
Do you know what number Andrea Leadsom is on the resignation list under Theresa May? How many have gone?
36.
She's the 36th minister. There's a graph from the BBC.
A graph on a comedy show. This is a first.
This is a graph of ministerial resignations before Theresa May, and here it is with Theresa May on it. Shall we see some footage of Andrea Leadsom on the day she resigned?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm looking very carefully at the legislation today as leader of the Commons. That's my job, and making sure that it delivers Brexit. Thanks very much.
It's so weird. The man is waiting. Do you think they know each other?
No idea. I think he's an opportunist. Sees her on the telly, he lives next door, right, I'm out here. He's doing that every day and never gets a kiss, but every so often it happens.
Is Boris Johnson going to be Prime Minister?
No.
Front winner never wins in the Tories. That's all I can say. You can cling to for hope.
If you're watching the repeat and he is Prime Minister, I'm really sorry.
Here's an Irish politician campaigning in the Euro elections on Twitter. He's quite clear what he wants to do. Let's have a look.
We are really troubled in this country with state corruption. That's one of the things I intend to take care of if I come back here with the office of MEP. If I come back with MEP office, that's going. Vote number 1, Ben Gilroy for Europe. And I'm going to Europe to get our money back.
Can I just ask why you've applauded that? You thought that's the kind of strong leadership we need? None of this hopeless attempt at compromise. Bloke with a big stick whacking things.
What other bad news was there for the UK last weekend?
Eurovision.
How did we get on?
I didn't see it, but I understand
Really bad.
we came last.
We came last.
Do you know how many points we got?
4.
It was like 21 or something.
It was 16.
But it was wrong, wasn't it?
Then there was a
Something?
recount and
Yeah.
5 points were removed.
Madonna was terrible, wasn't she?
Oh, dreadful.
Do you watch the Eurovision Song Contest?
Of course.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm really glad.
I
would
really
have
like the
imagined that you'd be
voting
watching
system.
something on BBC 4 at the same time.
Oh, no, because all their documentaries don't go out.
Yeah, you saw Madonna singing like a prayer.
Yeah, well, I thought it was going to be brilliant, and then she opened her mouth.
Would you like to hear it again?
Yes, I would.
Oh.
I felt sorry for her. I thought she wasn't singing very well because she'd hurt her eye.
Did you watch, Jess?
Oh, I literally love it. It's my favourite thing in the whole year. It's better than any election. It is the best thing ever. I love it.
Did you vote for any of them?
I didn't vote this year because, actually, I didn't think any of them were quite up to the standard that I've come to expect, and I think that the Netherlands...
You didn't vote?
I didn't vote. I did vote in today's election. There's an obvious question to ask me now.
election.
Oh, yeah, sorry, in yesterday's election.
There was an election yesterday as well. This is Amazon and these sort of voice recognition systems that use female voices, and some people have complained that this might be sexist, stereotypical things.
Mine's Snoop Doggy Dog.
Is it?
My sat-nav.
How'd you get him to do that?
He's not got a lot on, really. Yeah.
And he knows the Birmingham area really well.
He really does. I think it's a load of rubbish, people being upset about whether it's a man or a woman's voice, really.
Yeah, I don't think the worst problem of sexism in the modern era is when Siri speaks with a female voice.
No.
It's actually a male voice in this country anyway, but... What voice does your Siri have?
You've got the voice of Gladstone on yours. I'm afraid that hasn't yet been invented, sir.
It definitely listens to you all day and then push markets you. Like if you say, like, I've got my period, then you get loads of Tampax things on your Facebook. It's just fine on you.
Why do you have to tell that it's your period?
No, but I don't tell it. I'm like talking about it with my mates, or we'll be talking about needing new tights or something, and it's listening, and then it's trying to sell me, like, tights and, like, Botox. It's constantly trying to sell me Botox.
As long as it's not just noticed you being grumpy and gone, I bet she's got her period. Does anyone know what prize was given to the female winners at the Asturias Squash Championships in northern Spain?
An actual squash? Like a butternut squash? Also...
In a way, yes. A Durex vibrator. Yes. A sort of mechanical version of the squash. The women were delighted. Let's have a look at the delighted winners. How did feminist champions the Daily Star...
Oh, it's the game squash.
The game squash?
Yes.
Oh, no.
What's been going on? What have you been thinking about?
He was talking about squash, the fruit, the vegetable.
As a, like, you know, like, as a joke.
I'm terribly sorry. I was making the mistake of taking you seriously. I will stop at once. Yes, of course.
50 Shades of Grey is genuinely one of the funniest books I've ever read.
I have only read the first one, and I gave that up halfway through, but it is total comedy.
I have favourite lines from that book. As I turned to face him, I saw he had his erection firmly in his grasp. That happened to me once in a greengrocer's. Not sexy. There's another bit, there's a bit where his hands glided over my breasts, kneading gently, taking no prisoners. It's written by John Watson. I mean, he takes no prisoners in the breast-kneading department.
I can't believe you've memorised 2 quotes from E.L. James.
Many more, I should have thought.
2 quotes? Yeah. OK. No, we haven't got all night.
Theresa May's resigned.
Now there's an enormous race to succeed her.
Yeah.
To succeed her in literally the worst and most toxic job imaginable.
Yeah.
The sort of job you'd have to be an idiot to take.
Yeah.
And so there's a huge field of candidates.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you mention Homes Under the Hammer because there was some great controversy.
Well, this would be live footage was put in instead of Homes Under the Hammer. Was that the complaint?
This is it. All those fans who are expecting, and there are a lot of us,
Yeah.
to watch Homes Under the Hammer.
Yeah.
This is a programme about property auctions, Ian, and not about the attempted mercy killing of Eamon Holmes.
Although the second option would get more viewers.
Yeah.
You know, there's a whole world I'm missing.
Yeah, it's called the 21st century.
Daytime TV.
Yeah, exactly. Lord Helsham had been producing the Jeremy Kyle show. Ian would be in it.
I mean, there's a slot free there now.
Yeah, there is, actually.
Ooh, you'd be great at Jeremy Kyle. Go, get a job. I could see you doing that. I blame this programme.
Why?
For making him nice and accessible. I blame you guys.
Have you never seen this show?
If you look at the history of the show, nearly everybody who's been on more times than Boris became Prime Minister. Ken Livingstone, yeah. Charles Kennedy, yeah, absolutely. They were all there. Germaine Greer, first female Prime Minister, all our fault. You put someone on the show a lot of times, it's our fault. I mean, I didn't vote Boris in. I thought he was absolutely unsuitable and unfit for any office. The whole of London, Europe's biggest electorate, votes Boris in twice, so don't blame us.
The Matt Hancock app, a social networking site named after him. The problem with the app was that if you launched it, you got this rather creepy message. Matt Hancock would like to access your photos. Some people had jokes at his expense.
Oh.
Anyone who fancies beer tonight, Matt Hancock me. Do not Matt Hancock me. This is an 81-year-old man who's trying to drive from Newcastle to Rome, but got a bit lost. How did the unnamed 81-year-old, never been named in his life, what Dave Smith and the Sun had to say all about this? Did he not stop for food or fuel? Then surely it would have been obvious, with everyone wearing lederhosen and eating sausages and drinking beer instead of eating spaghetti and drinking wine. Dave, a man from the 70s. When the hapless bloke from Newcastle arrived in Rome and stepped out of the car to look for the Sistine Chapel, he forgot to put the handbrake on, and his car rolled back and knocked him over with the open door before knocking down the road sign for Rome. What else emerged this week that could make Trump's meeting with Prince Charles a bit tense?
He had a thing about Diana.
He did. An old interview has resurfaced in which Trump said, "I only have one regret in the women department, that I never had the opportunity to court Lady Diana Spencer."
She's been through enough.
He also went on to add that Diana would still be alive if she had been dating him instead of Dodi Fayed, because he knew the speed limit in tunnels in Paris.
Oh. Wow.
Wow.
That's a good opener at dinner with the Queen.
What in River Thames sparks bomb alerts?
Bomb!
I think I know this one. Do we get a point if we actually get it right?
Yeah, that's...
Wow, that's late in the day to suddenly do it like that.
You know how quizzes work?
Not really.
No.
Not really. I'm used
It's not
to
really your area of expertise,
Not
is it,
really.
Richard?
It was an enormous Christmas bauble.
Yes. Are you saying that you've been withholding right answers up until this point? The answer is a giant Christmas bauble. Here's the bauble. A group of holidaymakers has accused a Greek restaurant of overcharging for their calamari starters, saying it's a good job we didn't order the souvlaki.
Souvlaki.
Souvlaki. Saying, could I do that again? But, you know, like a human. A group of holidaymakers has accused a Greek restaurant of overcharging for their calamari starters, saying it's a good job we didn't order the souvlaki. Why? There we go. Souvlaki. It's just souvlaki.
It's a good job we didn't order something that wasn't on the menu.
I know. A group of holidaymakers has accused a Greek restaurant of overcharging for their calamari starters, saying it's a good job we didn't order the souvlaki. Thank you.
Now, that cheer's not going to make any sense to anybody watching this. It sounds like the whole studio wants to go, yeah, I wouldn't have got it either. Good move.
I live for those pity cheers.
Finally, someone's mentioned souvlaki.
Yeah,
This is
exactly.
great.